I'm starting again. Okay, so if anyone has any encoding questions specifically, while Jean still got this up here, I think that's a really cool tool you made for showing between how you can easily switch the encoding. And that way you get a new file in and you're having some issues, you can pop open that, what was it called, lab?
File encoding lab.
Okay.
What I could maybe just to explain in 2 minutes is how I've been able to detect the header in the file, because it's not possible to read the BOM using standard file commands in Notepad. So what I had to do, and here I'm opening the code of the file encoding lab. So it is the AHKey code. So somewhere here, there's a load file command. What it does, I'll return to. So the load file section here will load what is in this part, in the right part, and it is displayed as AutoHotkey can read it. But I'll return to a file with a header. I'll take this in the tutorial.
So the header is a little different in that it's quote unquote invisible to us.
Because the first character that will be read by AutoHotkey will be the first real character, not the. It will automatically skip the 3 first bytes, and we'll start with that. If I use the file read command, where is it? Load file, select file, split. But anyway, there's another section here that is display binary that will feed the left part here. And what I have to do in order to be able to read the 3 first characters is to read it as a binary file. So I'm using, instead of file read, I'm using file open, which is creating an object that I can process binary. And I use the seek command here to jump at the very first byte of this file. If I don't do that, the seek will start automatically at position 4. It will start here. If I does not tell AutoHotkey, go back to the very first position here. So in fact, 0 is the position 1 in this display here. Okay? So I return at the very beginning, and then I'm reading the first 20 characters. And for each characters, I'm displaying this and using different format, being ASCII, hexadecimal, etc., which are the different columns here. So it's just a little trick that need to be used in order to get the header whenever you need to do that, because we don't need to do that in real life scripting.
So I'm curious if anyone has any idea in other languages. I mean, I did a little bit in Python, but I never got this deep into it. Is that typical of how they? I mean, it's obviously the first 3 characters are there regardless of what program language you're using. But do they typically, as AutoHotkey, skip the first 3 if they know there's a bomb? And
of course, Notepad is doing that. Notepad++ and all text editor probably are doing it automatically.
But what about in the actual programming languages, like in Python? If I read in a file,
I understand.
It must be right. I mean,
probably you'd need to actually look at file open, the source within AutoHotkey, to see which probably a Windows function or something. So most likely, if you use Python or something else on Windows, you'd probably, depending on the library or module or whatever you're using, you might end up doing the same. So if you use file open the same way that AutoHotkey does with the whatever Microsoft wrote back in the day, you'll of course hit the same because it comes from there. But if they implement their own way of reading files, the question is valid.
I see Catmoan saying, yeah, they hide them. Yeah.
Yeah, they hide them. Yeah.
But there's a way, if you need to read it, you have to seek to the very beginning of the file.
Yeah, when I went through this whole process, I was very annoyed that there wasn't something outside of the file, like the file attributes, like the read only and write and whatever, attributes outside of the file that just held the encoding. right, to say what encoding it was. To me, it makes a lot more sense. But
it could also be the extension of the file if everybody agreed to use the same extensions for UTF file 8 or 16, but it's not the case. Everyone is using TXT or CSV.
Yeah.
But not an extension that tells what is the but then it would rely on user giving the correct extension, which could be wrong.
Right.
Property of the file would be better if it was existing, but I think it's part of your OS file system. These information, they are not transferred when you transfer the file. The read-only attribute is specific to your computer, and you send me the file, and it will be what I want it to be on my system.
Yeah, it needs to be like that stream thing we played with Jackie, where it saves it in the file, but it's not in the file. I know that makes no sense, but
actually, it's in the file and in the file.
But you're right; it needs to transfer with the file, regardless of whose computer and what you're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, the data, like the stream that we played with Joe and other stuff like it, where is the OS supposed to actually save the data?
Right.
So if it actually puts it in the beginning of the file, you can be assured that the information is always passed along. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of Windows kind of making up its own way of storing file encodings, everybody can now be using the same 3-byte automark. Yeah.
It's kind of surprising, maybe it's just me, that there are still so many programs that don't have the bomb in it, that are saving it in it by default.
I'm not familiar with tools in Unix or other OS, but maybe it's not common in these environments, and the LinkedIn developer who developed the export feature just didn't have this in his toolkit. I don't know, because they had many issues. They wrote a lot of FAQ pages to help users deal with their files, because users were complaining that their export files were not working, and they explain in these on their support pages. To use a tool and then tell the software to use UTF-8.
Yeah. Have they actually fixed this now?
No. I've seen this a year ago, and then I did it recently. It was the same.
No, it's still the same.
To me, that's just weird.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you actually fix that? I can't believe that would actually take that much time to fix.
But it is a known issue. Maybe it's known only by the people who answer the question to users and not by the developers. But it's
What's ironic is the people who figured it out know how to deal with it, right? So they're like, well, I figured out how to deal with it. People who don't know what's wrong, they don't know who to tell. They know something looks weird, but they don't know how to explain it right.
Yeah. But they can Google it and they'll find the answer, but they need to be Googlers.
Yeah, but what I'm just getting at is it's as inefficient as anything can be, just kind of explaining to the few who actually find the time to search for it, how to fix it, instead of actually setting one tiny developer at LinkedIn to fix the code, and then the thousands of users of LinkedIn will actually not have that issue. It's just for humanity as a whole, it would save time if you kept doing stuff that way. Instead of saying, hey, we have explained to you how you can fix it, because we don't really have that issue. Yeah. We don't want to fix it.
It's not good development support. And
No, exactly.
Not good practice, of course.
Yeah.
Good. All right. Did anyone have any more questions on this, or just in something they're working on AutoHotkey? Cap Moden, you got any gems you've been working on lately? I know you often share some interesting stuff.
I'll stop sharing, Joe.
Sounds good. Thank you. Like I said, even though I've seen this twice now before, it's really helpful.
It does tell a lot about encoding, and maybe it's not often that you actually hit an issue here, but when you do, it's just so frustrating to have these characters not show up in any readable way. And most often, I at least, maybe before I actually started using AutoHotkey, I had Notepad. So I used that, and I tried changing the encoding there, but it would always put in the BOM as John just told, and I didn't know that.
Right.
How was I supposed to actually know this? And I would keep changing it around, and I might even have put it into ANSI at one point, and by doing that, destroying whatever data was in there,
right,
without actually knowing it.
Yeah. I'll tell you, Jean, that your lab where you show how the BOM is the first 3 characters, and then the actual characters that get read in start on the 4th, and that's what lines up. It until I literally saw that, I understood what it was and supposedly what it did, but literally seeing that just really made me get it, and that was awesome.
Good. And see that some characters will take 1 byte, other will take 2, 3. Oh, okay, then I understand, because it's just weird when you see it without the structure that this gives.
Yeah. And it is just flat out amazing to think about what our computers do, right? And that, like, you just change that encoding and how they read everything, slide over to a different like a decryption page to say, oh, this time we're going to say that is an A versus a this, right? And all of the stuff is done like that. It's insane to me.
Yeah, actually grasping how much a computer can do in a millisecond, where it actually does petaflops in a time frame that's hard to actually grasp for us, because we simply don't think in that time frame. So
fortunately, we don't have to know all this.
Right.
No, you're of course right. We don't have to know it, but someone has to know it. That's the thing. So yeah.
Here's the thing to me: you don't have to know all the details of how to fix it, but at least I wish more people understood a little bit about what encoding was, to understand maybe that's the issue, and I need to find someone who knows what in the world they're doing with it, right?
Yeah, I like the example that you gave at one point, where you were at some company somewhere and you said, why don't we just save it in Unicode? And someone would tell you that, hey, that would make the file larger.
Right.
Yeah, maybe back in the 80s that actually mattered. But now the size that actually changes would be so minimal.
Yeah, it can be the 10% maybe.
Yeah. So yeah, it's sad that and people tend to do this. Danish people tend to sway to the Danish language and how that works, and the same with people in the English language. But why would we ever need more than 256 characters or whatever? There's only 20 characters in there, 28, or how many characters do you actually have in the alphabet, Joe?
26.
26, yeah. We have 28. We have 29 now. I don't remember if we actually have the W anymore, or if it's been added.
That sounds so crazy to me.
The W wasn't actually there when I was in school. Everybody knew about it, but it wasn't actually a part of the alphabet. So, yeah.
It sounds so bizarre, though. So
we don't really we don't have any words that use the W.
Then oh, okay. I'm sorry, because you're like, well, I'm like, well, there's W. Oh, but that's English, so yeah.
Yeah, but we also say we, but we use a single we instead of a W.
Double.
In Texas, we say y'all. So
y'all. But why is it called a W when it's a double V?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
Next webinar.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Anyone else have any questions, comments? Working on anything cool they want to share?
Probably working on something, but is it cool? Yeah.
I've been doing a lot with Maestriath on automating using Mailgun, using their API, and also one called TextMagic for automating. So Mailgun is for email, and then TextMagic is for texting. And so we're automating messages, but really making it easy to use and do a lot of advanced merging and stuff. It's pretty awesome.
Okay.
To send text messages?
Well, one is the text message. So like one of my clients, they have focus groups, you know, at 10 where people have to show up at different times of the day. And so I can schedule them with AutoHotkey. I can schedule like that, you know, 3 days earlier. I can schedule all the reminders. And so one reminder will be 3 hours early for each person. And then the other, you know, then there'll be a 30-minute reminder for each person and stuff. And it's cool because it goes through AutoHotkey to the server and then sits on their server. And so that way with an app, you can go log in and delete it if you want, or reply back to people on the phone. So my clients are the end users and they can deal with the nitty gritty of the person, but I'm helping, you know, schedule things for them and write personalized messages to them so that their customers think they're getting personalized text messages from, you know, another person, and they are. I'm just making it look and feel much more like it's an individual.
Yeah. What kind of server is it? Is it something with a proprietary license or?
Well, TextMagic is, you know, it's a company where you can get an account and they charge 4 cents a text. It depends on what country too, obviously. But yeah, they have a program, they have an app on the phone. It's pretty awesome. And we just connected to their API using AutoHotkey. And so it's pretty awesome. Yeah. Mail merge for SMS. Yep.
Yeah, I'm currently using Line, a chat app that's called Line. I think it's an Asian thing originally or something like that. I'm not sure, but yeah, I was looking at their API because a lot of people I usually communicate with back and forth use this, and I wanted to be able to actually automate a message, but yeah, didn't really have time to go into it. So I'm still at a loss to actually know if I can manage to make push bullet the API for that. That's so easy to use. So wish kind of that everybody was on that instead.
So I see Geek Dude was one was and it was just before the webinar started. I mentioned I had used his Chrome.ahk and I couldn't quite get my act together to get enough published to have it ready for today. But I see he's mentioning something about code quick tester script. Jackie, have you seen that?
Yeah, I know that the Greek dude has also shown it before. Maybe it was in webinar 3 or something, so some time ago. But yeah, it's a nice little tool, quick and easy. Just as the name actually says, code quick tester. Maybe quick code tester would have been a good name. But yeah.
What is it doing?
Maybe Joe, do you have it?
I don't know, but actually I was going to see if Geek Dude, if let me know if you're up for sharing your screen and want to, and actually, you know, do audio too if you want. But if you want to demo it, I can try and find it. I probably have it somewhere, but I don't know what version I would have.
It is a small. It's not really. Yeah. I don't know what updates he did, but it's a very small code editor where you could maybe write something very quickly or copy a piece of code or something too, and run it without much hassle. So
okay, I think I remember it was probably in the site one where I was demonstrating how I can run code without actually I can run bits of code within site, right? And maybe that was when he chimed in because it is handy. It was more handy when I was new to coding. I don't do it nearly as often as I used to, but
it also depends on the size of whatever you are trying to do.
Sure.
If you just want to do something small, most likely Code Quick Tester could probably also be used to actually make a small quick macro. Presentation abilities.
That's the page on the AHK forum about Quick Tester. Code Quick Tester.
Code Quick Tester. Yeah. I want to say it the other way around also.
Geek Dude, if you want to, you should just be able to, on your toolbar, there should be a button to share screen. And since I don't think anyone is sharing at the moment, you can just share.
It probably depends on how he has his window set up at the moment. But yeah. There it is.
Yeah, I can. Oh, awesome. Yeah. And then did you want us to unmute you? I'm going to unmute you anyway, and then you can tell me to mute you. Are you there, Geek Dude?
Yeah.
All right.
Can you hear me?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. I'm just getting over a bit of flu, so if I sound kind of congested, that would be the reason. So Code Quick Tester is something that I've been working on for a bit of a long time now. And you're right, the name was chosen a bit poorly, but I can't really go back and change it now. There's been too much precedence.
Right.
Yeah, the basic premise of it is you type some code in, and you hit run. Oh, opened up on the other screen. And then it just runs. You don't have to save to a file. You don't have to worry about really anything that you would have to do if you were writing your script in something like Notepad. I know with AHK Studio and Site for AutoHotkey that they do make it a lot easier as compared to Notepad. But the goal here is to be as lightweight and quick as possible to do rapid prototyping.
Yeah, was that actually your tick count you used as the randomizer of the script name?
Yeah, so when I hit run, it will create a name, and it creates what's called a named pipe. And it's not really a file on your computer. It's kind of like a pretend file. Windows will say, yeah, this is a file, but when it goes to read the file, it's actually calling back to your program to get the data.
Cool.
So AutoHotkey will try to read your script, and instead of getting it from a file, it gets it straight from memory.
Interesting.
And you're right, it's probably not the best for very large projects, but when you just need to test something, like a lot of stuff with file encoding, you could, if you don't have any of the wonderful tools that were demonstrated already, you could just type in here file encoding whatever, and then try to read your file and see how it comes through. I use it a lot when I have, let's say I'm like writing a bunch of emails or something and I want to do a template. I can just create one right here, you know, single-use scripts.
I thought a lot about when I'm not helping as much as I once were on the forums, but yeah, I thought a lot about having something as lightweight as this to just copy whatever people put in as their example script, because hey, it's very lightweight and I could have it open just on the side, and yeah.
Actually, yeah, because Jackie, I can remember this is a couple of years ago, but we would do a hangout, and I'd look, and he'd have like, I swear, like 50 tabs in his site open, you know, like going, and I'm like, dude, yeah. And then actually one time we had planned a hangout, and he's like, sorry, my computer it had been like, you know, 6 months since I rebooted my computer.
Yeah.
It wouldn't. It was installing like, you know, 120 updates, and it just, anyway. So yeah, it was funny.
Yeah. That happens. Stuff needs to run. Not
as far as using it in conjunction with the forum to help people, I offer some browser extensions that you can use that adds buttons to the code boxes on the forum. When you click them, it'll open Code Quick Tester with that code in it.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. That makes it even nicer.
Yeah.
And that works for both Chrome?
It works for the native code boxes and the GitHub gist boxes.
Nice. Yeah, that is really nice.
And if you ever go through on the IRC or on the Discord, there's this paste bin button where it will upload it to the paste bin, and it can drop a message in IRC or Discord that you've done that.
Nice. Yeah, I'd need something that was in its own window instead of in a tab on the browser. So that would be a great tool. If I don't show up much in the chats, but I do drop in rarely. Yeah.
Hey, this is off topic, Geek Dude, but I'm just curious. You know, like I said, I loved what you did with the Chrome.hk, but I'm curious because I used the exact same shortcut I had made for Selenium, which was also, you know, using it for Firefox. Is it possible to, at some point, we'll also be able to manipulate Firefox in the same way without Selenium, straight from AutoHotkey?
I'm sure it would be possible, but not through the same method that I'm doing it for Chrome.
Okay.
No, great work on that, by the way, I must say.
Thank you.
That is really nice. I remember requesting something like that to Joe at one point. Maybe even when we looked at the Selenium plugin, I said, hey, we need something that's more close to actually use the real methods or whatever you'd call it. But that was just as much because I didn't want to actually learn whatever Selenium developers had thought up. Yeah.
And then just given that IE at some point is going away with Edge instead, and Edge doesn't have a COM interface.
No, Edge probably, I don't even know this, but you might, Geek Dude, but maybe it has something similar to what Chrome has.
Well, we were able to connect with it at one point, Jackie.
Yeah.
Chrome from AutoHotkey using a WinHTTP request, if I recall correctly.
Yeah. That is correct. But yeah, we couldn't do much with it. But
no.
Yeah, we're stranded there, maybe because we didn't really have a use case.
Right. That's right. Yeah. Necessity is the mother of invention, right?
Yeah. I would have gotten that Chrome library so much further by now, but I don't really have any use for it either.
Yeah.
I was thinking one night, I bet I could do this. So I tried to do it, and it turned out that I could.
Yeah.
That's so nice.
That's the same thing for me is as painful as it is for IE, it's so easy for me to automate IE that I'm like, I don't feel the need to switch.
No, it would be on request because someone actually requested it to work with Chrome. But yeah, I must say at work we have issues. We have the whatever it is, IE 11, and that is by IT companies the browser we're supposed to use. Yeah. But the problem is that our internet, is that the correct word? Internet, yeah, whatever.
Oh, intranet.
Intranet, yeah. The developers of that didn't really support IE. So whenever our whatever you call those, the people that actually edit our intranet, even though IE is our standard browser,
right? How ironic!
You're supposed to use, they can't. Because the function within, so Chrome does have its quirks there, or its perks might be.
Geek Dude, what are you playing with?
It's just showing something else.
What code page is it?
What code page is it? I
don't think it specifies one. Let's see.
That was
There's
a pack
definitely
day.
some broken characters here.
Yeah.
So I just pulled up some code from the forum.
Was Pac-Man? Was it Pac-Man?
It's
Yeah, something made...
ASCII Rescue Adventure.
Okay.
Interesting. Yeah, people make some crazy stuff sometimes. But yeah, I love that people are actually making games. Who was it that actually made something for a competition with kind of like Flappy Bird or something like that? Where
That was Uberry.
yeah, exactly. That was Uber, yeah, and someone else. I think they were two did it, but yeah, that was fun as well. I saw a reference at one point to some kind of AutoHotkey war games or something, a server that existed somewhere. I couldn't actually enter it, so I don't know what it was. I think it was before I actually joined the AutoHotkey community, but it seemed interesting, but without really knowing what it was.
Oh, by the way, I saw a post on the forum on neural networks, on the basics of doing AI by Geo, and I reached out to him on the side, and he has agreed, at least for now. The plan is that the next webinar in March will be, he's going to lead us what he did with the neural networks with AutoHotkey.
Yeah. Did you see that as well? Yeah, I was just talking to everybody, kind of.
Yeah, right.
But yeah,
I figure, especially Cat Mode, and I think that's right up your alley with some of the stuff you've done.
Have you seen it, Greek Dude?
I have not. No.
No, you have not read it. Okay, it's in tutorials. If that helps you.
Yeah, I can put the URL in the chat if you want.
Yeah, but yeah.
Is it already there? There, it's in the chat.
It should be there somewhere. Push bullet? No.
There it is. It's right there in the middle.
No, that was, yeah. Geo, the green one there, yeah. There he makes a great explanation of how you can make your own neural networks in AutoHotkey and
although, and I'm not critiquing it, right? But those videos there, I had a hard time tying the videos, which of course aren't him and none of that, but applying, how it related to what he's demonstrating here, other than the overall concept.
Yeah, he has the way it's written is you can clearly read into it that he has himself researched it quite a lot, and then this is his summary or his interpretation of what he's read, but that also makes it quite nice, I feel, because we really get someone who is kind of new to it as well.
Sure.
So he kind of uses some good wording and some.
Yeah, we didn't have Einstein explaining it to us because they might be talking at such a high level that we don't get it, right?
Yeah. I'm actually sure that Einstein would be good at explaining stuff. I think that he was actually quite pleasant to listen to. But yeah, I know what you mean. I got but yeah, a rocket scientist explaining how much fuel is needed to actually leave Earth's gravity. Yeah.
You'll laugh, but I happened to be out in LA one time, and my friend had this dinner party, and he wanted me to go with him, so I went. It was all these people from NASA, right? So what was funny was I'd ask people, so what do you do? And they're like, oh, I sit at a computer. I'm like, you sit at a computer? Oh, and then they would expound on this 5-minute explanation, talking the biggest gobbledygook they could, I think, to obscure what they did. And then make me feel stupid, and I was just like, okay, but it was funny.
Yeah, really unneeded. And to the speaker I talked about earlier, he had a kind of the same talk with the same explanation when he was at a party and would say, yeah, I'm a software developer. He could just see kind of the clouds go over the eyes of the people he was talking to. And if he actually tried explaining it more with what he actually did, then they would just at one point just turn around and leave. No?
Yeah.
No, that's not interesting.
Well, that was my, I was in statistics, right? And I got so used to the glazed over eyes. And actually so my background is in multivariate, like, big data type analysis. And it's funny because I never thought I did machine learning type stuff. And I didn't, because machine learning, I think the biggest difference is that you're feeding yourself, right?
Yeah.
My models, I took inputs, I created my output, and I was done. But with anything machine learning, is you're having it feed itself to train itself to learn, right? Adapt and change.
Yeah, I feel that, and this explains it so well, that whatever it is doing, it's just weighting or subtracting from the significance of something.
Yeah.
So for however many nodes, and I even have a comment on there somewhere.
Right. Yeah.
But so you can use this for one single node, or for a 5-node one, or for 1,000 node one. All it's doing is traversing down it, and then at one point it's putting or subtracting significance from the values. And
each one of those nodes, right, that whatever relationship you're evaluating, it can have as many inputs as you want, but it's still, generally speaking, it's going to be, making it might weight all those things differently, but it's going to come to one answer, right?
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Yeah, so, there's a good example. Yeah.
Yeah, this might be really, really advanced stuff, but not really AutoHotkey specific as per se. So if you just want to know more about it, or maybe have an idea of what you can do with something like this, because if you actually read this, it doesn't really matter which language you implement, whatever you learn.
It's really on neural networks.
Yeah. It truly is. So you ran that, and what happened? Did something happen? Greek dude?
It's spamming a bunch of tray notifications to me.
Okay, we can't see those, so fair enough.
It says training network 85%.
What is it learning, do you think? How to actually crash a computer? No, it's just interesting, because that's one of the issues I have with it, is what am I actually supposed to feed it with, and what is I'm supposed to learn it. So yeah, I still feel that it's way off to actually have a use case for something like this. But yeah, if you have the time or the inclination to actually do this, it is really interesting. And I love that he has now gotten some code examples in there that you can actually extend on. So yeah, I was missing section 2 when I posted in there, so I need to go and read section 2.
Hey, who's that guy?
Hey, who's that guy? Yeah. He's the guy who doesn't read the forums.
That's right.
Yeah. He said at one point, and now I learned today that he's even on Discord. So yeah.
Well, I did chat with Geek Dude a little, but I only went there because I saw on his Chrome thing that he was in Discord.
Fair enough.
An account, but I just never get there.
So the mountain moved, to Muhammad. That's fair enough. That's the way of doing it. Yeah, I actually like Discord way more than I like the old
IRC.
Yeah, IRC. Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally. I'd say as a chat thing that resembles the old school stuff. I also like it better than Slack, even though I've used that a lot also. But yeah.
Anybody else have anything they want to share, bring up?
His name is Greek Dude, not Geek. Yeah, sorry.
That's right. Yeah, I didn't know if you were. I know sometimes things just sound different for you, but yeah, because Greek Dude actually sounds like something, right? But
yeah, I'm sorry, but yeah, Geek Dude, of course. I must say that I have just gotten that name stuck in my head, because when you actually started your sharing here, I was just about to actually ask you where you're from, and that was because I had the word Greek in my head and not geek. So sorry about that. Yeah.
It's pretty common. I get that name a lot.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah.
Are you by any chance Greek?
I am not. No.
It would have been so ironic if you were. Like, I'm not Greek, dude. Wait, well, you are a Greek. Yeah.
Yeah. Wait, what did you put up on screen here?
It's the IRC chat.
Fair enough. You have way more open than I usually do. So fair enough. But yeah.
Wow.
So I'd say that for you, it's quite a lot more, that's not the right term, but yeah, it's way more busy on your screen than it is on mine. With all the information that you have open, available, names, times, colors, users online, chats, messages available. Yeah, you have way more information there than I usually do. So yeah. So this wasn't really what I was talking about. For me, it seemed to actually remove a bit of the noise, where in your version you seem to have kept it. That's okay.
I think Geek Dude needs to follow the little rabbit, because the what are they called in the Matrix? He's going to be hunted there if he keeps going down that path.
Oh yeah, it is follow the right rabbit. Yeah, that little tattoo. That movie is kind of old, right, Joe?
Oh yeah, my son loved it.
Great.
Probably.
Yeah, I had a colleague at one point where I said, "Oh, so you were in and you saw the new Marvel movie?" Yeah, and it had a good reference. I said from XMen, you know. Oh, XMen. Oh, I don't watch old movies, he said to me. And I was going, so yeah, some people just make you feel way older than you should.
Well, hey, I had my 50th birthday a couple of weeks ago, so now you don't feel so old, I bet.
Yeah, right. But still, old movie. I don't even remember what year it was from, but I believe that it's maybe 2001 or something like that. But yeah, it didn't feel old to me, I'd say. Yeah, but hey. Have you found something new there? Skeleton HTML. That's maybe not for us. Fair enough.
Is that with the Chrome HTML? Yeah, I used that inject, I think, to be able to use a lot of the get element by ID and by class name stuff, just because I'm so familiar with that.
To inject JavaScript?
Yeah, for Chrome, because Chrome you could use the what's it called, the query select all, something like that, right?
Yeah,
which is more powerful, but it's you really got to know your stuff. And I'm just so familiar with the class name, selecting by class and by ID, that I really would like to do it that way. So I was playing with that.
Yeah, I must say that after actually automating IE for so long, the dot notification that COM uses and JavaScript for that matter just makes so much more sense to me than like query string.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Not because you can't actually XPath and stuff like that is powerful enough,
right?
But yeah, the usefulness or the familiarity with the other way of doing it just makes it way clearer.
Joe?
Yeah.
I don't know if we have enough time, but you know, there's a new function for hot strings in AutoHotkey.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And I wrote a small script just to demonstrate this new function. Brand
awesome.
new. We could take 5 minutes to take a look at
Geek
that.
are you in the middle of actually showing something or?
Not really, no.
Okay. Once you, I don't know if you have to stop sharing. I think you might, and then John can start.
All right.
So you should be good, John.
The post on the AutoHotkey forum, and I'll share.
Thank you for joining, Ken. Just someone saying bye in the chat. So.
Oh. Yeah, Ken. Thank you. Hope you learned a lot. I sure did.
So I don't know if Lexicos developed that after I made a request, but I said sometimes there's a hotkey command that allow you to create hotkey from a script. So the script can create hotkeys, and there was no equivalent for hot strings. So maybe 6 months later, just found out that he wrote this function that is creating hot strings from your code. So what I've done here, there's the function here, hot string, where you give as parameter what is the hot string, so the trigger and the options for this trigger. And in the second parameter, you can write the replacement text. So I'll make maybe a short example here before. So, and the hot string will be no option and H and hash. Okay, there's one quote missing here.
See here the quick code tester, quick tester.
Yeah, would be of a great use here. Yeah. So I created a hot string that is H hash, then that is to be translated to hello all. So if it worked, I'm not sure the script run, but I think we'll see it right now. So you know, I made the H, then dash, then enter or space. And I like to use the do not wait for ending key. So I'll just restart the same script. And now H dash, and it's all immediately replaced. But what's good? So it's good because if you have hot string saved in a text file, so you have a CSV file, for example, with one column with the trigger, the other column with the options, and the other column with the text replacement, you could load 20, 50 hot strings creating a loop to loop in your file and load the hot strings that way. It's brand new. It's you need to install the version 1.1.28, which is very good.
I'd say it could also be interesting because as soon as I see this string as the trigger, I immediately recall, was it Titan, whatever the old admin was called, that actually made this with the red X. So a great extension of this at one point would, of course, be if that would become a possibility.
Was that the same as the dynamic hot strings? I think it was called.
Yeah, I can't remember if he actually called his dynamic hot strings.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there was lots of replacement that have been done because it was not there. But all the solutions I've seen, they needed to create a hotkey for every character of your keyboard, and monitoring this and building the monitoring, and it was very intense. I thought, and now all this is done using built-in function in AutoHotkey. And I also want to show what I'm using in Quick Access Pop-up to add hot strings to Quick Access Pop-up. So instead of entering the replacement text here, I'll make it bigger. You can enter the name of a function, the name of a function or the name of a label. So I have a hot string here, which is F.
Hey, John.
Hash. So this one here will say.
Sorry, when you get a chance, look at the questions. Jesus asked if it'll work with extended characters.
I'll do it with this one. Not acute, E grave. Accent grave if you speak French. So this is the function. So this is E grave. And I'll just put something in my label here, which will say it is L. So let's try it. So the first one is still okay. So H is translated to hello. Now E grave is translated. Will it work? Yes, it worked. To my function. So what it did, it recognized this. It said, okay, what do I do? Because there is a function by this name here, AutoHotkey will execute the function instead of replacing this with the text my function. And this command here is displaying the message box. And the third one is going for a label. So if I enter L dash, then it displays here. Oh, no, it didn't work. Oh no, it didn't work. Excuse me.
It's because you made it into a string. So
you were polite, not telling me that it was just not working. There's an option that you have to use here in order to make it being interpreted as a function or a label, and it's the option X that was missing. So I'm trying again now. The E grave comes up. And now this is a message box that is displayed. And if I'm doing it with the L, so L hash, this is L, what is here, okay?
Cool.
So it brings a lot of possibilities. And what I've done in the little example here, smaller, I'm creating objects which include what are the trigger, the options, for each. So the trigger is F1, F2, F3. The option are X. X is always required because I will always use a function or a label here. And the content is a value that I put in my object. Then I'm creating an array of objects using as the key for this array the hot string itself, the hot string being F1 and the options here. So let's run this. So here we have three hot string being created with F1, F2, F1 and F2. It is with different options here that I put options where the options are here. And all these options are calling a show object. So if I do F1, enter, you type F1 with option X. So this command here is retrieving the information using the hot string that I typed. It's going to retrieve the information in the objects, in the object here, using the hot string as being the key. And the hot string is available in the internal variable this hotkey. This hotkey includes what is the trigger that started this command here. So it says you type F1 dash with option X, it triggered the command show object. It was defined here, okay? Displaying the content of object this hotkey dot content, which is in fact this variable here. So it opens very interesting new possibilities in AutoHotkey.
Absolutely.
And I just wanted to take a few minutes really to show it.
Very cool. Thank you for sharing that. I have one I can...
Thanks to Lexicos. I don't know if he is the only one to thank for that, but thanks for the developers.
I was going to say, I can demo one just as an example of one thing that Maestri has built into the stuff. Let me figure out the right screen to share. It's this one. So this is the GUI interface for the text magic, for the mail merge for texting. But what I loved was I saw it in their tool, and I asked him if he could do it. I know this is kind of small for you guys, but so if I was typing in here, I can say Joe was, or I'm sorry, let's say hello. And now I want it to go, I want to dynamically pipe in the variables. These are the headers, which I don't have any people in here right now, right? But if I start typing first name, see how it pops up? And then it dumps in what I need for my replacement. And so I think even a beginning user person can do a mail merge. And then hello, Joe, and then we'll do last name. So last name, is this your number?
First name twice.
Oh, did I? That's me. Yeah, that was me, not it.
Anyway, it will work.
phone number. Like I said, we're still working on it anyway. But yeah, so then that was what would be sent. Of course, I'd have more in here. But as I loop over my people, my contact lists, it would do the mail merge for me. I can schedule them to go different times. I have offsets, so I can say before and after the appointment time. Normally, there's a time in here, so I know what time their appointment is. But I just love that dynamic being able to, in a dialogue, an editor, have it for someone who doesn't do programming, right? For me, I'm fine manually doing this, but why not, right? Why not make the things you want to make it easy for people to use?
Yeah, so when you actually hover your mouse over the variable, I would like to get the content of that shown in a tooltip. No. I'm just messing with you. That would.
What it does, it merge the different records you have in your list to create different messages.
Right. Yeah, but I just didn't. The list I have in here, have real live people, so I had to get rid of them. But I realized I could at least demonstrate, how this part works. But yeah, it's pretty cool. But the end
result is a text file that you send, or is it sending the content? Or
it's sending it dumps them to the server, and then the server will text the people individually.
Yeah. Oh, that's it for the texter. Yeah.
Right.
The text messaging. Yeah.
Joe, here is a good use for the machine learning. You can do just like Gmail is doing,
right,
and actually write everybody different messages.
Well, what's funny is I do actually, I don't have them here because I'm not on the list, but if the list was here I would have the messages that were sent, right? So, and the replies. And so I would have that history. So per person, and I could do it aggregate or per person, but you're right. Start using that knowledge of what they've written before and offer up possible replies.
You could weight specific words within their messages to actually write in their not language, but vocabulary using,
And then, if it's a teenager, you do a lot of just I forget the emojis and, short, you instead of the letter U instead of YOU, right? You have your new encoding where you're talking to a teenager and, anyway.
Yeah. That was just an extra little thing. I am about to.
Yeah. Anyone else got anything? I think we're wrapping it up. We're over our second hour and I really have to use the restroom.
Yeah, I need to sleep. It's just past midnight now. So. Yeah.
Time for lunch here, for dinner.
Yeah. Thank you, John. You did a great job on that, on a very complicated topic. So thank you so much.
Thanks to you all.
Awesome. Have a great day, everyone.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.